2022. Now me, when a brother, we will talk about Amba history. Before I come in for salute the people of Ambazonian at home and abroad, I want to call this way brother a day with me for inside this fight, because it don't recognize and it don't hear the voice of God concerning our struggle. I hear what he tell we about God, where we don't hand over this country for you. More listen.
My name. I give you glory. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name more than the air. You know me, you know my name. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow.
Thank you very much, Reverend. That one now the assurance where the Ambazonian people then get them. Say the Father, he know their name. And that's whom we have trusted. And he can never disappoint us. 21 gun salute to every sincere, serious Ambazonian at home front and abroad, who has taken upon himself to declare to the world that the lies of La Republique can never prevail the truth that exists between these two nations. There are two nations that existed differently. But today, technology cannot cover the truth. And of course, technology is made by God. No matter how humans try to twist it, they cannot twist it beyond the elasticity. It will break. So what we are saying is that the Ambazonian quest in this 21st century is as a result of accumulated historical facts that human beings have done everything within their power to hide it, and it has not worked, and it will not work. You know why? Because God is involved. And in anything that God is involved, God takes the precedence. It can delay, but that delayance does not move God, because God does not have day and night. God has just one straight, no day, no night. The only day and the night that comes is after 1,000 years. And that is where God is seated. And that is how he is watching and listening. Remember, I have told you before that since the creation of man, there is no human being who has lived up to one day in God's side, because one day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like one day. And since the creation of man, nobody has ever lived up to 1,000 years. The person that tried is called Melchizedek. And Melchizedek lived for 969 years, which is, in our normal calculation today, before God, is just 23 hours, a few minutes, and a few seconds. Not up to 24 hours as we count our normal day. That aside, we are talking about the history of Ambazonia. And on the 29th, on the 30th, you did hear a rundown of our connection with God from one of our illustrious sons of Ambazonia, who also happened to be a child of God. And he went into the archives of the holy book, some people call it. I call it the pivot of all histories is hanging inside that book. Others prefer to call it the Holy Bible, and I agree with them 100%. But there is no book as holy as that, in the sense that the author, who is God himself, does not have special children that he can hide if they commit any crime. Everybody is treated equally. And that book, our brother has read it and read it. If you have not listened to that message, please mark down these dates, 29 and 30th. It was actually 28, 29, 30. Yes. Go to your Facebook, type in ABC, and ask for those dates. The messages will come up. Listen to our history. You will know that there is never a people who got up and knew where they came from and accepted to be slaves. It doesn't matter how much the chief warder tries to beautify the prison where they are living, give them air condition, give them 27 screen television, and all kinds of refresheners. Nobody would like to remain a prisoner. And so Ambazonians have been in prison for the past 60-something years. La République, sent by France, doing everything to hide their history from them so that they can remain slaves forever. But today, any Ambazonian that wishes to remain in slavery with La République du Cameroon is doing it at his own volition. Because God, when he reveals, he wants you to take action. It is very clear that not only in the archives of God, but also in the archives of those who made themselves the watchmen of this world, call it United Nations, call it League of Nations, They did everything to show to all of us and to bring to all of us what we're supposed to know. Not only about other people, but about yourself. And so Ambazonians got up to know that the slavery in which they are in is not at their will. They have been taken captive against their will. And they decided to, in this generation, with all the technology, jump out from that boiling water that is still very warm. Many have died. And we have read it in history. Some history that has not been written. But in our DNA, that means in our spirits, it is written. And it is like in a dark glass where we cannot see clearly our destiny and the pain which we are going through, that it was not supposed to be so. Now we have seen it. We have gotten up. We have told France, we have told our Republic of Cameroon that in this 21st century, annexation is out of place. We cannot be annexed. We are never a part of them. We have never been a part of them, and we are never going to be a part of them. Now they have decided to go in and use some fraternal measures and some fraternal methods by hypnotic powers, mystical powers, demonic powers, satanic powers, and every other power that is contrary to God and the will of God. The will of God is that all men born here in this life should be free. But the next person who is clamoring and fighting power with God, called the devil, you ask me, how did he come about? Just like I will ask you, how did you come about? That there is freedom in front of you. You don't want to get into that freedom. Where are you coming from? That's the same question. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go straight. To let you know that it was Methuselah who lived for, what did I say? It was Methuselah, yeah, that lived for 969 years. If I mention any other person, then that person was not the person. It's Methuselah. All right, let's go. Ambazonians, I want you to listen, and to listen very well. Our history is very straightforward, and I like to repeat it and repeat it over and over and over and over again. Some of you who were born in the 1980s and beyond, everything has been hidden from you. And especially those who are born in the early and late 90s, and those who are in their 20s today and 30s, please take it from me. I know some of you come in here with your insults. I'm asking God's permission to help me not to react to your insults. That I should tell you that I pity you because you don't know what you are doing. It's just like a child getting up and comparing with the father how many new dresses he has and a good pair of shoes he's wearing. He's comparing with his father. That father has seen days, his days, and he's seen your days today. Whom do you think will be more wise and standing in the position of talking reality? My guess is just like yours. So, Ambazonians, especially those of you who have heard this history of our land handed down to us by our parents verbatim without it written down. I doff my cap for you. And to those of you who have come up today and you don't want to learn, I pity you, because you are in a stage where you are completely blinded, and an ignorant and an innocent fellow can just be drowned if you don't use your brain. I'm saying that when La République du Cameroon got their independence, West Cameroon, as it was called at that time, was never a part of it. I'm saying that the United Nations conducted a plebiscite for La République du Cameroon, and the countries of the world at that time voted 54 countries for La République du Cameroon to have their independence. The same United Nations had another plebiscite, what they usually call referendum, in the time and the days of West Cameroon, former British Southern Cameroons, now Ambazonian. I can tell you, because I am an Ambazonian and I love to know and study my history, that they were on 11th of April 1961, there were 64 countries that voted yes for the independence of the former British Southern Cameroons. The number of nations that gathered together at that time were 93. So if you take away 64 from 93, tell me how many countries did not support. That's 25, if you did arithmetic like I did. You see that was 25 countries that did not say yes to the independence of Ambazonia, if my arithmetic is not failing me. My dear friends, I want to let you know that the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, former British Southern Cameroons or West Cameroons, in every form had advantage and more people loving to see the people of Ambazonia get independent more than La République du Cameroon. Because out of 93 countries, 64 voted a yes for us. For La République, I didn't very much care to get into their history, because they are also very, very distorted. But Ambazonia, being organized, went in, and when we had the independence, I've told you this, Foncha was a gentleman. And Ahidjo played him and France a very good trick. They were just coming out from their colonial masters, who actually were their custodians after Africa was partitioned to European countries. Ahidjo now deceived Jongo Foncha and said, please, let's come together. Don't mind your colonial masters. And Jongo Foncha, being a gentleman, and the rest of the people told Britain, before you actually took your way out of our land, we were already governing ourselves, so we can try. Meanwhile, the United Nations needed a union treaty between La République and Ambazonia, West Cameroon, signed by the colonial masters to be put in the archives, that today the articles of independence and association with La République du Cameroon by the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, which was West Cameroon, former West Cameroon at that time, has been contracted. La République du Cameroon hit France in the Banda, and France was telling them what to do, but the intellect and the intellectuals of Ambazonia were just moving. But let me tell you, car way you no get tell. Now God is the dry fly. After giving them booze from France in Fumban to drink and bringing them women to sleep with, because that's the pleasure of man. La Republic did everything. Foncha, Endele, and the government at that time, I'm sure Gomjoa was there, they refused to sign any document without reading. Because they were going to sign the death warrant of all Ambazonians. Thank God, God restrained them from signing, and nothing was signed. And that's why we have the audacity to go in today and tell the Republic of Cameroon, and tell the United Nations, and tell the international community, show us where we have a union treaty with La Republic of Cameroon to be under them or to be with them. There is none. The people of the world, they know. United Nations know. International community know. But because of the wickedness that is in the world, they are waiting for Ambazonians to fight for themselves. And that's why we are fighting. Fast forward. La Republique agreed that they were going to come on the table and would discuss these issues, because God had told them in very clear terms that they were not going to win any battle with arms against Ambazonia. People who don't even claim to know God, they told them that you cannot win this battle. Even though you call them 2 cubes of sugar, they will not dissolve. Even if you drop them into the ocean, they will not dissolve. So the best thing is to come on the table. La Republique agreed, and from that time, they started finding a way of entering through the window or digging through the wall and creating their own door. And it has all failed, and it is failing, and it has failed. A number of Ambazonians suddenly discovered that they can scam La Republique, even if it's going to be demonic money. Even though Judas, his name is being pronounced in almost everywhere when the gospel of Jesus Christ is preached, he betrayed Jesus, even though he did not enjoy the money, but he betrayed Jesus and had the pleasure of being called a betrayer. I don't know how many people today want to be called after the name of devil, Satan, wicked one. And there are so many people who want to do that. They may be ignorantly or knowingly, because somebody had said that Satan was a liberation fighter, calling God a tyrant who wants everybody to follow him. But Satan came out as an opposer to let God know that it is not only the creator, but the creature also can take over from the creator. Wow, what a perverse mind. And so the Ambazonian quest started, and almost coming to the table in 2021, somebody like Judas Iscariot resurrected. There were so many of them when we started this fight, but 2021 was the apex where one of us actually stood up, told La Republique, I can deliver. And what happened? Promised La Republique, I'm going to bring even those that the real Ambazonians know that they are not fighting for Ambazonians' cause. Now that I've joined them, I'm going to bring them on board. And they started their game. The first name, oh, Dr. Sako is not doing anything. If I get out of here, I have billionaires, I can perform, I can do this. Eventually, he got out of the house, banged the door, and like the prodigal son, he suddenly discovered the joy and the enjoyment he had in the house is not what is outside there. Called all the enemies of Ambazonia that have ever been and that they are, brought them on board, told La Republic, we will join together with those that you have captured and they are obeying your voice, because it's the captor that gives orders to the captive. So we are going to go together. And they formed a group. This is Amba history. Don't tell me I'm blackmailing any man. I'm saying what is going on. And that's why our going to Boya is being delayed, because it can never be disturbed. It can never be stopped, sorry. It can be disturbed, it can be delayed, but it can never be stopped. That's why we are still on the way. And so we will deliver. He gathered all of them together and told the Republic, this day we are going to hold a great conference, and then when we endorse it, we'll pass it over to you. Then Ambazonia will be yours. This is happening last month. This is fast forward to our history. They met in Canada. Many of you have heard from other channels and from this ABC the outcome of Canada. It produced no results. But before they went into the meeting, they had assured La République du Cameroon, and La République du Cameroon said, okay, we cannot tell the mediators that we are no more interested in discussing with Ambazonia. And they told them that October was going to be the last month. October is gone. Nothing is seen. Nothing has come forth. November is gone. La Republic has gone back to square zero. I'm talking to you as a historian, as a seer, and as a child of God. La Republic is in a fix because nothing is moving in the area that they were promised. The last meeting of the enablers and spoilers just took place a few days ago. It was supposed to be 3 days. It actually took place just a day. And the people who came to the meeting did not even agree among themselves. Ambazonians, what do you think is happening? That is God at work. When Moses' rod was cast down, the magicians of Egypt, they came with their magic and did the same thing. Their sticks became snakes. Ambazonians, listen, we have stood with the rod of God, which is, we are the 55th nation of Africa. Yes, country number 55. That is who we are in Africa. We have already told the United Nations. We have already told the AU. We have also already told the European Union and all the other powers that be in the world, in the society, that Ambazonia, the former British Southern Cameroons, West Cameroon, is the 55th nation of Africa. And I want to announce to you that Ambazonia is the 196th nation of the world. That is our position. We have come in, and we must be, and we must continue to be. Nobody can wipe us out. If the Jews 430 years in Egypt were never wiped out, then forget that Ambazonia that came yesterday in a civilized world can be wiped out by any means. No, it's impossible. It cannot happen. So, Ambazonians, I know some of you who are at home, you are bearing the brunt, but the truth must be spoken because the truth is found in justice. And when there is justice, there is freedom. And when there is freedom, people live in harmony. But when you are in a machinery of lies telling, and you have a factory of telling lies that we are presently hearing in so many fora and WhatsApp groups and the other social media, I want to tell you that it's a waste of time. They can talk, they can shout, and they can feign, pretend to cry, pretend to be so emotional and so concerned. But it's a lie. It's a lie. Why do I say it's a lie? What is going on home front? Do you know that some of them who made La Republique to say that they don't want to hear anything about president or government, some of them who were clamoring to be president in the same government, today they're backed up and they say, let's create something else. No, sir. We are calling Ayub Tabe today because he declared the restoration of a government that be. If a government was existing and you try to extinct that government and the government bounces back, excuse me, why do you go to form a group in order to go in and meet La Republic as a group? La Republic will be very happy. That's why some people who claim that they are president in their own jungle groups have come up to denounce the name president. They only mention it once in a while and when it is convenient, because they have a strong warning from their masters who don't want you to indict us by calling that name government. And I've heard some people say there is no government because we don't have a country. Are you serious? If you didn't go to school, please listen and listen to me very well and go and find out anywhere. What is a country? A country principally is made up of two things. One, a physical geographical land. Two, people who claim ownership of that particular physical geographical entity. And so Ambazonia, do they have a land? Yes, they have. Are they in the land? No. But does it belong to the occupier because he came in with strength and stole it from us? It doesn't belong to him. He is a thief. And the owner of the land, even if he's abroad or at home, has recognized his land and has claimed the land. So for people who say that, oh, virtual country called Ambazonia, oh, virtual government called this one, please, you need to go back to school. And unfortunately, I've heard some people who call themselves journalists, and they're making that kind of trash. Do they believe that Dr. E.M.L. Indele, Dr. Jongu Foncha, Pa Gumjua had a physical country where they were ruling and leading? Yes, they believe it. Where is it today? A thief has stolen it. Does it belong to that thief? No, of course it doesn't. Remember the English adage that says that 99 days for a thief and 1 day for a master. La Republic has suddenly gotten up to know. And many people did not know that Ambazonia and La Republic were never brothers, no cousins. They were just neighbors. Because a brother at war, killing his own brothers, that is unheard of. You want to extinct part of your family and become an island? It doesn't work like that. That La Republic brought in machine guns and brought in killers, it is a clear indication that we are not the same blood of people with them. Because no country goes to war against itself. It's not possible. And if the Republic does that, it is a clear indication for even a blind man to understand with his ears that these people are not the same people. Please, human beings, get this simple understanding and know that La Republique is a usurper trying to claim what the people who came in and divided us know that it is not part and parcel of them. The boundaries are still there. They have not succeeded in eliminating and removing the ancient landmarks. And guess what? Our Father God knows that there are boundaries. That is why it is written in the holy book, thou shalt not remove the ancient landmarks. The landmarks that were put in 1927 by the League of Nations, demarking Ambazonia from La République du Cameroon and from Nigeria. The boundary stones are there. They've tried to dig them out, but it has not worked. You know why? Because it is God. So, La République du Cameroon, please, it will save you time wasted because you can never kill all Ambazonians. And to those Ambazonians that have eaten from the pot of soup of darkness, and they are now against their own brothers, let me tell you, La Republic has proven to us that if you go and fight, you may succeed to live or they will kill you. If you don't go to fight, you may succeed or they may kill you. How many people have La Republic walk into their houses, drag them out, and shoot them at short range in Ambazonia? What did these people do? The Garbu massacre. What did these little children do? The girl that was thrown into the hot pot of oil. What did this little innocent baby do to these savages and these criminals? I want to let you know that Ambazonia is a country of its own, has its land, has its government, has its flag, has its name, found in the records of the United Nations and in the archives of League of Nations that was taken over by United Nations. There is a country called former British Southern Cameroons, or West Cameroon as it was called. Today we rename it Ambazonia to make a distinction from French La République du Cameroon and the people of Ambazonia, Ambas Bay. They used to call it West Cameroons, but we are no more. We are Ambazonians. We've decided to change our name, and we are apexing our name into the archives and into the registers of the world as Ambazonians. And so tomorrow it will be known that as America fought for its independence and got in 17 whatever, we fought for our independence, got it in 1961, 1st of October. Another criminal gang orchestrated and sent by France as our neighbors to capture us and make us slaves. We have said no, and our no has remained to be no. Unfortunately, many of our own who stood in and were working in synergy to make sure that the homeland is defended, after some of them in the diaspora who love money more than their own very souls, tried to sell our land because they didn't sell it, And those who are on the home front defending the land have been deceived to accept monies from people they don't know. And so they created private militias. And when they take this demonic money from the Republic of Cameroon, they give them crumbs. And that's how they have been killed. Today, there's a new method. I want to sing it very clearly to the Ambazonian people. Somebody will call you with a familiar voice, known to you, tell you he has sent you money. You should get out of your house, which is called the local government, which is called the county, which is called the interim government. You should get out of it and fight on your own. That is unheard of in the world. How does somebody goes to war at his own expenses? That's not possible. If you do that, your resources will get out as they have run out. Unfortunately, some of them are calling me. Hey, can you support me? Can you support us? I say, who are you? He said, I'm a soldier. I'm a fighter on the home front. When I ask, where are you fighting? He said, no, I decided to fight on my own. Then go ahead and support yourself on your own. I am under authority and will work constitutionally. We are constituted. I will work with law and order. We don't work in disorder. So if you don't know where your local government is, your county is, I can help you to identify and point it out to you. I've told you I'm a child of God and I will speak the truth. And what I have verified, I will speak with authority. There are 3 groups of people that have called me. 2 of them, I referred them back to their county. And the county called me back and told me they recognize those people and gave me who they are. They became thieves. After they've collected sugarcanes from the county, they turned around and started embarrassing the poor people that La Republic is oppressing and killing for no crime. Our own people, because they had sugarcane given by us, they started doing that. And when they were discovered, their house told them that they did not send you to be thieves. So they turned around and looked at me and called me that I should support them. I don't have a private militia, and I will never have. I'm working with the interim government that is organized. So if you are listening to me, I think that you call me and ask me for support. Don't waste your time and your little credit, because I have nothing to offer to you. We are organized. This is my own part that I'm playing to educate you, to help you, to know that if you get out of your house, you will die hunger, or you become like the prodigal son and come back to the house. The house is open. You can still be received if you recognize what you are doing. And to some people who think that this incident, unfortunate incident that is happening to us in Ambazonia is an open door for business, get the money on the blood of the Ambazonians who have died. You will never enjoy it. And it's unfortunate that if your children grow up tomorrow and they don't repent and become individuals, they will inherit the curse that is already hanging upon your family as the head of the family, if you are doing that. But thank God that Ambazonia is a land that believes in the Creator, the Almighty God, who looks at people as individuals, will not put the sins of the parents upon the children, neither the crime of the children upon the parents. That is what La Republique can do, and that's what the devil does. But God doesn't do like that. And that's why we have chosen the path of God. And we are telling you, Ambazonians, you are a very blessed country. Very, very blessed. Because God has accepted to be your God. It's very rare for God to do that. To the point that he proclaims, he knows your name. And that is God we are talking about. Listen to this.
I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yeah.
Yes, the Father knows your name. And our God knows the name of Ambazonia. When La Republique refused to come to the table and boldly told the Swiss mediated government that they were no longer interested, after playing games for 2.5 years trying to pass through the window, all the promises that they were given from Canada failed them. And when they failed, they are now in a quagmire, struggling to see what they can do. La Republique, let me tell you again, the Ambazonian people and the cause of going back to our homeland is resolved, just like it was resolved in Egypt. And Pharaoh did everything to punish the children of Israel who cried out in pain. Some of them even cursed Moses, who came with that idea. Just exactly what is happening today. A lot of people are insulting Dr. Sako and calling him names, forgetting to know that it was not Dr. Sako who restored the government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Now, God uses anybody and everybody at his time. And when your time is expired, and you don't go, and you try to do anything funny, you only delay the move, especially when God is inside. I do not know who deceived the person who declared the restoration of our independence, Ayuk Tabe, in prison, to form another government, because that was the beginning of the delay. That did not only delay the Ambazonians, it took away the life of some Ambazonians, and of course he himself is still in incarceration because he believed that when he did that, La Republique had deceived him with lies that they were going to release him. And because of that, he attempted to create another government and mortgage 8 million Ambazonians to another branch of slavery that was going to last for decades. But because God had been employed in this particular business, he is the one that God used his mouth to say that anybody who would try to disturb the going to Boya, that person was going to be thrown under the bus. He said it, and it was God who put in his mouth to say it. That's why when you talk and you don't recognize, and you don't remember, and you don't have connection with this God, you fall into what he has told you to say. And I can name it and name it and name it here and name it here. But the truth is that we are continuing. And I have told you here that anybody who sits on that steering to pilot us to Boya and does anything funny, that individual will be taken away and replaced, because God has no people who are indispensable. No, everybody is dispensable before God. If you don't go his route, he puts you aside. It doesn't matter whether you carry Bible or you are an outright pagan, worshiping Satan, belonging to all the cults of La République du Cameroon. God will not have any business to do with you. And so we are telling Ambazonians that our history is on course. There are current events that are going on, which I think you should open your ears and listen very well. La République understood that after the deceit that they were going to hand over Ambazonia to them, finally, when it failed, what is La République doing now? Is looking out illustrious sons of Ambazonia from the countries where La République has been disgraced, and firepower is telling them that no more business as usual, and they get some so-called elites of which they have demonized. They can't reason straight to come up with frame stories like what happened a few days ago, that you are hearing that America has started arresting some people who are fighting in this battle, so be very careful of what you say and say. It's not true. Number one, it's not America. Number two, is La République du Cameroon in their continuous tricks and games, sponsored by France, to pick up some people. They think that they are making it to happen, but they don't know that picking up those people instead energizes the Ambazonian people. Just like our men who were standing with the interim government on home front were killed, Isubu was killed. They thought that everything was going, but somebody has risen up and taken the place. So there is always a replacement with God. And so don't waste your time, La Republic. Now, this demon from that particular county called Kutunja, inspired by the demonic spirits of La Republic of Cameroon, living somewhere in America, because when the demons enter you, you become even foolish to yourself. This individual did not even know that La Republique du Cameroon does not accept dual nationality. And if you are to accept another nationality, you must not be a Cameroonian. And so these three people are Americans. Their hometown, they were born in Ambazonia, but they are now Americans. La République does not, according to book, recognize them as members of their Cameroon, and of which they are not, which is the right thing. I want to let you know that Ambazonians shall have dual nationality. You can be an Ambazonian and you can be an American, but La République does not have that. And this man, because of the demonic spirits of the Cameroon People's Demonic Party, of which he is an elite in that demonic party, stupefied him to go ahead and file a lawsuit about Ngokutunja in America. America doesn't even know what Ngokutunja stands for. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a failed situation. It is for all Ambazonians. It's not for those 2 or 3 people. Of course, there are radio line TV, and now lies from CRTV. Purportedly said day before yesterday at 7:30 News that our president, Dr. Sako, was arrested also. Can you imagine a whole national TV telling lies to the entire world? Thank God that only those who are deluded still listen to that crap in that nation, that banana republic. And so they lied. But guess what? Our brothers have not been thrown into jail like it happens in La Republic of Cameroon, but they are in the presence of a law court. You know, when you frame up a lie about somebody, it is not first come, first serve, like it happens in La Republic of Cameroon. If you go and report anybody in the gendarme or police, those colonial criminals that are staying in Ambazonia that we have not appointed them, once you report a crime, as the first person, you are already justified. But in America, sorry, sir, you have lived in America, but you have never allowed America to live in you. You would have told La Republic of Cameroon that with the demonic money they are giving you to sue these people, at the end of the day, the demons behind that money will haunt you. Because I know, I grew up in a family where I was told at my very young age that my father used to send thunder. And when the thunder goes and the person you are sending the thunder to kill is innocent, the thunder will come back. And you must show that thunder a goat or something for the thunder to kill, which when it's killed by thunder, nobody eats it. And so my father used to send the thunder and stand at the door, making enchantments and incantations. And when it comes back, it will show a tree, and the thunder will enter the tree. That's what I was told. I was never privileged to actually witness it. So also, I want to let La Republique know, especially this man in the US that has been used by La Republique. You have signed your death warrant not only for yourself, but for your children's children. And if your children grow up tomorrow and they don't denounce and renounce your wickedness against your own very people because of a demonic inspiration, they will fall and become victims in life. But if they denounce and accept Jesus to cleanse them and cut off the umbilical cord from your family, they will be free. And if you did it ignorantly and you are hearing my voice, somebody tells you, you can repent, you will be forgiven. But let me tell you that there is nothing that you people are going to do to hand over Ambazonia to La Republic of Cameroon, because they don't have jurisdiction over Ngokutunja. And so, as a seer, as a child of God, and as a person who studies and is reading history, I want to tell you in advance, you have failed. You have failed. Because God is in charge. That land belongs to God before we, the Ambazonians, will claim it. He has given us the authority and the power that is our land. And the game you are trying to play with La Republique du Cameroon to sell our father's graves to La Republique du Cameroon is not happening. Not in this 21st century. 1994, Rwanda and the other people of the world gathered and shouted and said, no more, never again. But unfortunately, it's happening right here in the 21st century. Still in the century that the human beings cried, no more, no more. I pity them. And like my master will say, I also forgive them because they don't know what they were swearing and what they were standing for. But for your information, the 55th nation of Africa, the 196th nation of the world, called the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, is marching forward, and nobody can stop it. Even the devil himself coming out from the pit of hell to enter a human body and cause the havoc like he has entered La Republique du Cameroon through Paul Biya and the elements that he's sending out, it will not work, because it is a done deed signed by heaven, and we, the children of this heaven, we have accepted, and we are going by that. I told you that as far as we are concerned, the 55th nation of Africa, the 196th nation of the world, we, the people of Ambazonia, we have stood up, and we have stood to declare that it shall never be business as usual with La République du Cameroon. La République du Cameroon must come back to the table. They must. If they don't come back to the table, well, they have a much bigger land and expenditure to carry out more than the Ambazonian people. And we, the Ambazonian people, we have resolved that no matter the games and the tricks of La République du Cameroon, we are equal to the task. We will defend ourselves. That's why I tell the ARFs at home front, stop listening to individuals who have made you their private militias, because they will kill you. They'll call you, tell you go and pick up your money at this place, call La République du Cameroon, say go and pick up them and deal with them. And I heard that it's already happening. A number have been killed. Somebody told me that it's 23 of them that have been killed. And when they are killed, the soldiers collect the money from them. La République, terrorist soldiers in our land, they collect the money from them. Because you are going after an individual who has been bought over by La République du Cameroon and is posing and talking long speeches, talking something that looks very positive, like what I'm hearing going in the air right now, where somebody is talking as if he is for Ambazonia, saying we must go and march, we must go and do this. Please, all that is a lie. It's not true. It's not sincere. That's hypocrisy. If you were true and sincere, like the history book I'm reading says, they went out from us because they are not part of us. If they were part of us, they would have stayed with us. They went out so that they can be manifested, so that everybody can see that they are not part of us. And then you are telling me what? Excuse me. You left the house, went and stood on the street as a town crier, and nobody sent you. You talk what you talk today, tomorrow you talk another thing, and people are still following you. Oh my God. Ambazonians, we are not boohoo's to that level. No, we are not. We are not to that level. Please come back to your right senses and listen attentively. It was Jesus who said, watch out, be careful what you hear. In another place, he says, be careful what you hear. How you hear and what you hear is very important. If you are not careful how you hear a wrong signal. And when you run towards that wrong signal, you will terminate your life before time. I know everybody is going to die, but don't die before time. That's why we are here, to educate you so that you will know. We are not against anybody. We are in a democratic society. You have a right to choose your party, but don't choose a party that is telling you lies every day and you take it to be gospel truth. It doesn't work. That's why we come here to tell you, listen to what the interim government is doing. Look at what the interim government is doing. Somebody said yesterday that the interim government is not doing anything and that he should be given the opportunity. He walked out from the interim government, created his own party. 6 months is almost gone by. Where are the billionaires he talked about? Where is the firepower on home front that he talked about? Was just mouths to deceive the gullible, who today their eyes are still blind. And somebody will tell me, go and join. You people should work together. Please go and tell God to join with Satan so that they can work together. When that is done, definitely I will join with any agent of darkness who doesn't want our liberty, who wants us to stay in slavery with the Republic of Cameroon, and we'll work together. But if not, if you have gone out to do your own, go ahead and do it. Let us see, because it is action that we are talking about. We are not talking about long speeches. We are not talking about emotional. People can change their voices and talk so passionate that some people who don't have the Spirit of God will not be able to discern. And at the end of the day, they start falling like a sheep to the slaughter. And before you realize, you are cut off. ARF, especially those of you on home front, I have said it and I'm saying it again. When you saw your people being destroyed, you stood up to defend your people. But some people came and told you, cross over to La Republique. They are giving pain to us, so I'll also go and give pain to them. It's a lie. That's not the fight that God has called you to fight. God has called you to defend your land. And that's what the interim government stands for. Interim government has never sent anybody to cross over to La Republique de Cameroon. If you cross over to La Republique de Cameroon, you're on your own. Interim government does not disturb you, does not stop you, but the interim government has not sent you. You are not doing it for the interim government. That's what we are telling you. The interim government has a vision, has a goal, has a focus, has a plan, and that is defend the homeland. And those of you who are defending the homeland, your colleagues have already died. Remember, I told you, you saw, you heard, and you thought how La Republique du Cameroon comes into our homes, kill those who are fighting, kill those who are not even fighting, and then you stood up. When you stood up, the interim government constituted itself to support you as you are doing it down there. And in the course of supporting you, some people came in and brought out some names, collaboration, unity, and blah, 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 just to deceive you. And when you went out, the story changed. You started uniting your own people by killing those who refused to come alongside with you. Is that a unity? Is that how it should be done? You took the method of La Republique of Cameroon. Manipulation, intimidation, and possibly killing. And you took to it. Don't you know that a certain spirit has come upon you? 2019, 2020, and part of 2021, that appellation was not there. Were you not fighting? We knew of one arch enemy that had transformed itself to become an agent of La Republique in Ambazonian cloth. You all know him, ADF, and you stood against that. But when they decided to change their method and they fused these fellows inside, you've seen that from 2021, the ending of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, more of our people have been killed than they were killed in the years where we were really collaborating and were really united without calling names unnecessarily. When you accept a name, you accept a spirit that is behind that name, knowingly or unknowingly. Names are very powerful. That's why God had to change Abraham's name. That's why God had to change Jacob's name, because names carry a meaning. An Ambazonian will make sure that they do not allow anybody to tantalize them and deceive them to accept a spirit, either in name or in money or in ideology or in any way, shape, or form. We will not. When you accept a name and you are called by that name, you will act according to that name. If unity was really unity, people should not be forced. People should not be killed for refusing to join a voluntary association, if at all it was. And this has happened and is happening. Ambazonians, I am sure you are learning something, because as I told you, we are out here to inform, educate, at the same time, warn you. That is what this government is out to do. We are not out for propaganda. We are not uplifting anybody's name. We are uplifting the name of the interim government, and the interim government is not an individual, because if it was an individual, after the arrest of Ayuk Tabe and the other 10, La Republic thought that everything was going to die, but you forget to know that an ideology never dies, and so it continues. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the brief that I had for you today. And for those of you who are on home front, don't be shaken by any noise you hear from anywhere. La Republic has failed again. And you know, when you fail, you try to cover up. So they have failed again, and they are trying to cover up by telling all the lies that they are telling, once again to intimidate you, once again to frighten you, and once again to make you to drop your resolve that the whole thing has died. It is just the beginning. It has not died. Those 3 people they are talking about, plus our president that they mentioned, unfortunately, is not true. Only 2 of them are actually where they are. And very soon, the disgrace will be so open that the people that La Republic is using, they will even be ashamed of the Ambazonian family, where they come from, and they are being used as tools and like toilet roll to afterwards be thrown. Yes, where is Chief Enoni? Who so served Paul Biya? Where is Mendoza? La Republic is like an elephant that never forgets and never forgives. And that's what is happening. The only people that can have a temporal forgiveness is the Nsinga group, that demonic group. That's why out of the first 10 people that have stolen and emptied the coffers of La Republique du Cameroon, they are still moving very freely. Nobody has put them in any jail. And even the one that was actually caught with billions trying to run away, he's out of jail because he is from that Nsinga group. And he is from that tribe that feels that they are superior to every other person in that shithole country. And that's why he's doing everything to bring his criminal son and impose it on the people of Ambazonia. And I'm told, I'm still watching out. Anyway, this is foreign news. I'm not having time for that. I'm talking about Ambazonian history, that we are free, and that La Republique should better quickly hurry up and come to the table, or else wasting more time will be wasting more of their resources that they cannot even use to give drinking water to the growing population. It is at this junction, ladies and gentlemen, people of Ambazonia, that will call it quit for today. Meanwhile, stay tuned on other programs on our ABC, and God bless the people of Ambazonia. Listen to this story.
To tell the world I was long forgotten in sin. Tradition took me, the world swallowed me. many words of argument all day. I saw my sin